screen and all. So, welcome everyone to definitely episode 3 of Shark Attack Case Files. So today we're going to be off to South Africa, which maybe everyone thought was obvious because this is generally considered one of the mainstays, certainly for great white sharks. So yeah, if we scroll in, here's Cape Town, and this is the infamous False Bay Seal Island here. It's obviously very famous hotspot for great white sharks. And this little bay in here, got Colk Bay, and this is what's known as like fish hook in this bay here. So this is like roughly, I think, 1.6 kilometers in here. Beach, very popular destination for swimmers, tourists. Nice beach there, nice sort of sheltered area from the main open water. Yeah, so if we look again at some statistics, just particularly for South Africa, if we compare them to the global documented great white shark fatalities, which we've mentioned in the previous video. So in South Africa, there have been 96, documented great white shark fatalities, and then in the Western Cape, there've been 34 fatalities, which is, perhaps not as many as some people would believe in their own mind, given sort of popular opinion. The first documented fatality was way back in 1852, and the last one was a few years ago now. Actually, there's been a bit of a dry spell for fatalities in South Africa, which we won't get into in this video. But the last one was 2017. Yeah, so as mentioned, this is the Fishhook Beach, sort of Colk Bay area, False Bay. So it's just in here, if you can see the visual. So basically, this attack took place off Fishhook Beach, False Bay, obviously Western Cape, South Africa, and it took place a few years ago now, 2004. It was on a Monday morning, 0700 hours on a Monday morning. Let's get back in screen there. And the fatality which occurred was on a swimmer, Tanya Webb, who was, I would guess you would call her an elderly lady, 77 years of age. The species involved was a large great white shark, believed to be 5.5 to 6 meters in length, which is again close to that 20 footer, that magical 20 footer. Yeah, so it was the water depth. Actually, I've not. It's been difficult to derive the water depth of where the attack took place, but it was a new moon cycle, and yeah, it was a fine day. There was a slight sort of southeast breeze, so that it was very calm on the water. No visible whitecaps, and the air temperature in the morning was probably 16 degrees, and it rose up to, it's quite warm down there on the Cape, sort of 26 degrees. Yeah. And so Tanya was swimming alone. Well, roughly, I think some accounts say a little bit closer to the shore, but it was no more than 60 meters off Jaeger Walk, which is to the south of the bay. There's some rocks along the edge to the south of the bay, and it was just off the coast here. Yeah. So basically, yeah, Tanya was a 77-year-old woman. As mentioned, she'd been swimming basically, well, 6 days a week for 17 years. She swam in this particular spot, you know, with her friends, and yeah, she obviously never had any issues before. And that this beach is frequented often by swimmers. I mean, there can be up to 30, 50 swimmers, in the water at once all the time. So it's a very popular spot. And her favourite stroke, actually, she was a backstroker. Yeah, she was considered a strong swimmer as well. So she was very comfortable in the water, and she always wore this red swimming cap. And she was born in Bloemfontein in South Africa, and she was actually an English teacher at one of the schools. Well, a school in Johannesburg apparently. So yeah, so what happened was she was swimming alone. Yeah, by herself. She's 60 meters off the walk, And this attack was eyewitnessed by quite a number of individuals. And the first account came from a guy called Jeffrey Andrus, and he was basically, for whatever reason, he actually observed the attack through some binoculars up on the mountain, from a car up high on the mountainside. I don't know what he was doing there that time in the morning, but he basically said she was swimming backstroke, and she was sort of directly in the path of the shark. And then suddenly he saw the shark basically come in from the top of the bay down at great speed, yeah, towards where she was swimming. And this eyewitness, this guy Jeffrey, he said that the shark basically didn't slow down, and it just hit her, and then all of a sudden the water was just full of blood, and then it made two more turns. So it hit her once, then it came round again, and then it came round again, and then I think for the third time it grabbed her side and then just pulled her under the water, and then the shark turned and just headed out to sea. Yeah, so I imagine, I mean, the first hit, I mean, she probably bled out in 2 minutes, but she was quite elderly, so she might have had a heart attack, to be honest, and died before that. But it's definitely a horrific hit. Yeah, and then there was another witness up near the yacht club, which is just further up the coast at the top. Paul Dennett, he witnessed the attack actually from his house, which is 100, well, actually, yeah, 100 meters away. It's on the same side as where she entered the water along the walk. And he basically said that he saw a lot of thrashing in the water, and he came outside and saw the shark attacking her. And he literally thought it was a seal, but then obviously, yeah, noticed it wasn't a seal. And then he saw somebody in the water and just said there was just a hell of a lot of blood. And then he erased it. I think he was the one who actually erased the alarms. And then he said that he actually saw the shark come out of the water and attacked as it came round again and hit her for the second time, and then the third time, which is then obviously when it took her out to sea. And he said that her body was just sort of thrashing in the water, and then it swam off with her. Yeah, and then it sort of yeah, it came around, and its whole mouth came out of the water. Yeah, uh, not breaching so much, but just sort of came out of the water and took her down, and all that was left was her little red bathing cap about 100 meters from where the blooded water was sort of dissipating. So yeah, absolutely insane. And then obviously they never recovered the body. And then I believe a third witness said they saw the shark circling her, and then half of her body sort of emerged from the water of the shark, grabbed her, shook her around a little bit, and then there was lots of blood. That was just another incident, or another witness to the incident. Yeah, and I think as well that the shouting attracted the attention of a second swimmer, I believe, and obviously they probably yeah, got out of the water quickly. And I think on that particular day there was, yeah, a good 30 to 40 swimmers in the water at the same time, but obviously she was isolated. Yeah. So after the attack, they put out some fast boat patrols to search for her, and a helicopter was dispatched. Yeah, and it says that it reported that the helicopter spotted a large shark in the vicinity, and they said that the shark was bigger than the helicopter. It was huge. Yeah, and they searched for the woman's body. Was sort of called off mid-morning, and the surrounding beaches were closed. So yeah, never recovered. So it was uncertain whether the shark consumed her, or just took her out further out and just let go. And then it's just such a large area that the search, you're not going to find anyone. So in terms of extenuating circumstances, there were a few surrounding this attack, because I think there'd been in Colk Bay there was a fishing vessel which was laden with freshly caught fish and bleeding fish, and I think it was apparently questioned whether they had inadvertently lured the shark into the area by leaving an unintended sort of chum trail, which had pumped out from the bulges their bycatchers and stuff, and yeah, and washing blood off the decks as well, and that possibly could have been a contributory factor because there was a southeasterly blow and all the blood from the bait was trailing behind the boat could have possibly drawn the sharks in. And also, I think in the previous 2 days before, they were releasing some fish, some rare species of bass back into the bay that they caught, like a bycatch. And apparently there was a lot of commotion in the water, and they'd actually spotted some sharks in the area as well. Yeah, so definitely could have contributed. And actually, the interesting thing about this attack, what makes this attack a worthwhile entry into the logs, is that this attack actually brought in some shark spotting programs in the area. So after this attack, they introduced a flagging system with alarms, like electric alarms and shark spotters. So if a shark was spotted in the area, they raised an actual alarm in the bay, so like a siren, and then they had different coloured flags were implemented. So if a white flag was being raised, you weren't allowed in the water, and then there's obviously green flags, and then there's some cautionary flags as well. But the interesting thing is that this didn't actually stop further incidents occurring in this particular area. There was in 2011, there was I think he was a British guy. Was he a British guy? Yeah, there was a guy called Michael Cohen. Was he British? I can't remember if he was British or not, but one of these guys was British. But anyway, it was in 2011 that this guy had his left leg completely bitten off. You can Google this, Michael Cohen shark attack. Google that, and you can see him being pulled in on the surf, and it is I think it was his right leg completely taken off from just above the knee, and his left leg lacerated because apparently on the particular day the alarms weren't working, but everyone had been told to get out of the water, and this guy was swimming, and he was attacked by a great white shark. But luckily, he lived. He was very lucky. And then a year before that, there was a guy called Lloyd Skinner, and he was attacked again by a very large shark. This attack took place when he'd actually moved away from a large group of swimmers, and he was on his own, just adjusting his goggles in the water. And then eyewitnesses said they saw a great white shark as big as a minibus just basically hit this guy, and it actually done the same thing it done in the first attack, where it circled sort of 3 times and eventually just took this guy. Because one of the eyewitnesses said that they noticed there was a guy further out on his own, and when they actually said that a shark attacked him, they turned and a shark attacked him. Like, you couldn't believe it. Yeah, so that guy died. So even with the mitigations in place, these attacks still take place. Now I'll leave you with this. There's one of the leading shark authorities in the world. There's a guy called Dr. Leonard Campino. I actually had an email from him once back in the day, uh, and he basically said, it's just that people tend to focus on sharks in a way that they do not with other things. The risk of a shark attack is always there, just like the risk of drowning is always there. The ocean is more dangerous than the sharks are and could ever be. Shark attacks do happen. Uh, they have always happened and they will always continue to happen. But the apocalypse is not upon us and the sky is not falling. An attack is always a possibility unless you don't go in the water. So yeah, there you go. Unless you don't go in the water. So it's up to you guys. So hope you enjoyed that one. That's episode 3. So yeah, take it easy.